bishop stabbed inside of a church while delivering a sermon. He is going to survive, but this attack just days after at least 6 people were stabbed to death inside a mall in the Sydney area. NBC's Molly Hunter has the late-breaking details. And a warning, we're going to show you the moment of the church attack. It is graphic.
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to Mini Watch. And that is America's NBC, trailing footage that we are not allowed to see. The stabbing of Bishop Emmanuel in a Western Sydney church in what police say was a terrorist attack. The vision, supposedly so violent and dangerous, that the Australian government has demanded social media companies remove it from their global platforms, even though NBC News showed the footage uncensored to US viewers 2 weeks ago without causing any fuss.
On Monday, a horrific moment captured on a church service live stream.
We've frozen the action there, as all the Australian media have done. But a warning, what we are about to show you in a series of still images is what unfolded in the next 5 seconds. So if you want, you can see for yourself how Bishop Emmanuel managed to fend off the attack and duck for cover as the attacker looked at his knife, and people then rushed in to help. And you can come to your own conclusion about whether the vision should be banned. But on the night, as news was breaking, Sky News had reaching its own conclusion, with Sherry Markson telling viewers,
"The footage is too graphic to show you. In the ad break, I have just watched the footage. It is one of the most horrific things I have ever seen."
I think that is a gross exaggeration. But by then, thousands of people had seen the footage anyway, because the stabbing attack had been live streamed to more than 200,000 church followers and then widely shared on social media. And it was this viral spread that caused heartburn to the eSafety Commissioner, Julie Inman-Grant, who promptly ordered social media platforms to remove the video worldwide within 24 hours or face daily fines of $785,000. And that's when a war with ex-mogul Elon Musk erupted, because his company made it clear it would fight the case in court, tweeting,
"The eSafety Commissioner does not have the authority to dictate what content X's users can see globally. Global takedown orders go against the very principles of a free and open internet and threaten free speech everywhere."
And with that, the media and politicians went wild at Elon.
It just beggars belief, really, doesn't it? That this guy, this egotistical billionaire, thinks that it's more important for him to be able to show whatever he wants.
Seriously, I think these people really need to be put back in their place.
I would add further, if they don't comply, if they don't get rid of the content, fine them, ban it for anyone under 16, and let's get this done.
And adding his 2 cents worth was the PM, who also put the boot into Musk.
This is an egotist. He is someone who's totally out of touch with the values that Australian families have.
Elon Musk, of course, is an easy target with lots of enemies who blame him for wrecking Twitter, promoting conspiracy theories, endorsing anti-Semitic messages on X, and failing to condemn the Jan 6th Capitol attack. But the huge pile-on to Musk over the stabbing has at times been lazy and unfair, not least because X agreed on 20th of April to geo-block all the designated videos to Australian users, which many reports failed to mention.
X is refusing to take down harmful posts of violence in Sydney.
Tonight, openly defying Australia's orders to take down harmful posts.
First, X ignored a demand from the eSafety Commission, and right now it's still refusing to comply with a federal court order.
It is true, however, that Musk has been uncooperative because the eSafety Commissioner only ordered 65 specific tweets to be taken down, and others are still up on X, with the full video visible to Australians, with the usual suspects tweeting it to their army of followers, and the United Australia Party's Senator Ralph Babbitt publishing it in a tweet, viewed more than 75,000 times, along with a message,
"To the Australian government and the eSafety Commissioner, go fuck yourselves."
But the unedited video is not just up on X. It is also on Facebook and Instagram, both of which are owned by Meta, and on YouTube, owned by Google's parent Alphabet, where it's been posted by news outlets in India and Pakistan, and even by the Daily Mail, whose copy of the video was viewed almost 500,000 times over 9 days on YouTube before it was taken down. So, despite the laser focus on Musk, he should not be the only target. And what's also unfair to him and X is what's been left out of the debate. As some in the media did explain, but many did not, the ban sought by the eSafety Commissioner is intended to apply worldwide. And Musk has argued, quite reasonably,
If any country is allowed to censor content for all countries, which is what the Australian eSafety Commissar is demanding, then what is to stop any country from controlling the entire internet?
So, did everyone address that issue? Not really, and some flatly rejected it, with the Herald's David Crowe telling readers under this headline:
At its heart, this case is about Australian sovereignty over a company that has a deep aversion to government authority.
But how can that be so? Because surely trying to shut down social media content in other countries is about other nations' sovereignty and not our own. By the end of the week, opposition leader Peter Dutton was making that point to 2GB, telling Ray Hadley,
"We can't be the internet police of the world. You can't influence what happens elsewhere in the world, and I think it's silly to try that."
But what has also been disturbing about the media coverage is the meek acceptance of the claim that the video is too extreme to watch, with Crikey's Michael Bradley admitting,
"I haven't seen it, but I understand it is graphic."
So, whose word is he taking for that? Because I have seen it, and I think he's wrong. Brutal, yes. Distressing, too. But graphic, not at all. No blood, no gore, no killing. And Bishop Emmanuel was well enough by Anzac Day to record a message saying he wasn't opposed to the video remaining online, and to tell his congregation this weekend,
"Every human being has the right to the freedom of speech and freedom of religion. And for us to say that free speech is dangerous, that free speech cannot be possible in a democratic country, I'm yet to fathom this."
I believe that some videos, like ISIS beheadings, should be banned, or the live stream vision of the Christchurch mass murders. But this does not come close. And I think Andrew Bolt is right to ask,
why is the government so hell-bent on censoring this video when there's so many more worse ones on X, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok and Instagram? Right now on the ABC, for instance, I can see body cam footage of a killing of white police from Alice Springs, shooting in self-defence an Aboriginal man, Kumanjai Walker, who'd stabbed them with scissors.
The eSafety Commissioner says the church attack is Class 1 material because it depicts high-impact violence. But surely the same can be said of video footage of an Indigenous man being killed by a police officer, which is also up on the Australian's website. And what's also odd is this. eSafety says,
the removal notice given to X Corp does not relate to commentary, public debate or other posts about this event, even those which may link to extreme violent content.
And that is odd because, if you wanted to ban anything, surely extreme violent content and links to it would be top of your list. We'll no doubt hear more when the case between the eSafety Commissioner and Musk comes to the federal court on 10th of May. It may be that encouraging terrorism will then be the key focus. But 16-year-olds in Western Sydney surely don't use X to spread their message. They use encrypted WhatsApp groups and Telegram. And we'd be surprised and disappointed if the global takedown order succeeds. But now, to New York, where the Trump show is back on the road. And there was an Aussie angle last week to make us all feel proud.
Australian journalist Dylan Howard has been named as a co-conspirator in Donald Trump's hush money trial here in New York. The Victorian, named multiple times by his former boss of the tabloid National Enquirer, publisher David Pecker.
Donald Trump is on trial for paying hush money to a porn star and falsifying the payments. And with a ban on cameras in the courtroom, everyone has been talking pictures instead.
He seemed old and tired and mad.
Small, shriveled, old, tired. I can't read his mind, but he looked pretty miserable.
Trump is pleading not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records over payments to Stormy Daniels, who claims they had an affair. The porn star later laying it out in a tell-all memoir and joking with Jimmy Kimmel in this memorable TV moment.
Which of these mushrooms, orange mushrooms, would most represent the Commander-in-Chief of the United States military?
Can you hold it up so it's coming at me at the correct angle?
Yes.
Daniels touted her story to the media during the run-up to the 2016 election, prompting Trump, who denies the affair, to pay her $130,000 to buy her silence. Trump also agreed to a catch-and-kill scheme to stop dirt being published, buying up negative stories and burying them. Trump was aided in this by his lawyer Michael Cohen, who's already pleaded guilty and served time for the crime, and by the publisher of the National Enquirer, the aptly named Mr. Pecker, who's been given immunity from prosecution and is a key witness in the case.
He told them he could publish positive stories about Trump and negative stories about his opponents. I would be your eyes and ears.
And his National Enquirer did just that, paying $150,000 to a Playboy model called Karen McDougal and launching hits like this on Trump's Democrat rival.
Hillary, hitman tells all.
Corrupt! Hillary, 6 months to live.
And whether this, plus the cover-up, was or wasn't a crime, it certainly was fake news for Trump.
This has nothing to do with real journalism. This is just about using the checkbook and about using these magazines as propaganda in service of Trump. And as we're hearing on the stand, it worked really well for a long time.
But for Trump's media supporters, the issue is not about media ethics and dodgy payments. It's the fact he's on trial in the first place, with Fox News' Jesse Waters calling it the Salem Trump trials, as in witch hunts, and claiming
Biden's fingerprints are all over this. This is a political show trial.
And does Trump agree? You bet, telling a far-right cable TV channel, Real America's Voice.
That jury was picked so fast, 95% Democrats. It's a very unfair situation, that I can tell you.
That comment came in defiance of a gag order slapped on Trump to stop him intimidating jurors and witnesses, and had his lawyer trying to head off trouble by telling the court,
President Trump is trying very hard to comply with the gag order.
And was Judge Merchan impressed with that? Hell no, telling Trump's attorney,
You're losing all credibility with the court.
So, what did Trump do then? He went outside to the waiting media and bagged the court again.
See, the case is a sham, and it shouldn't even be tried. It shouldn't have been submitted. We have a gag order, which to me is totally unconstitutional. I'm not allowed to talk, but people are allowed to talk about me.
Trump then continued his attack on Truth Social, his $5 billion social media platform, calling the judge highly conflicted and the trial a kangaroo court, and raging to his 7 million followers.
This fake case should be dropped immediately.
It's hard to see how the judge could not respond to that. But does Trump care if he's fined or imprisoned for contempt? Probably not. And his lawyer says it would only make him a hero.
If they put him in jail for his First Amendment right, he will be like Nelson Mandela.
And while that idea may seem ridiculous, it would surely fire up Trump supporters, as the trial is already doing.
This is political rocket fuel for Donald Trump. If Donald Trump sees the light of a jail cell, it will be a landslide of epic proportions.
But not all Republicans are rooting for Trump. Mitt Romney didn't miss when he was asked about the case.
So far as I know, you don't pay someone $130,000 not to have sex with you.
The mitts are off.
The Trump trial resumes this week, so expect more breathless coverage and jokes from the left-wing media while the right tries to discredit or ignore the case altogether. But finally, to the sports desk and the latest threat to journalism. Patrick Woods covers rugby league for the Townsville Bulletin, and he's sick of seeing his stories being ripped off by League Initiative, a slick footy site which claims to be
your go-to source for all the latest breaking news and in-depth analysis of the National Rugby League.
But not only are Woods' yarns being purloined without permission, they're also being mangled in the process, as with this story in the Bulletin about Townsville's local team, the Cowboys, which was snatched by League Initiative, and the headline changed. Woods reported that Cowboys coach Todd Payton was unhappy with the team's performance and said so at the post-match press conference. And he wrote up the coach's comments like this.
Payton blasted his side for putting pressure on themselves with errors. We turned the ball over 7 times on play 1.
And here's how it appeared in League Initiative.
Payton rued over his team's penchant for self-generated pressure stemming from repeated errors. We gifted the opposition the ball 7 times on the first play, hence constantly defending our goal line.
Wow. When did you last rue a penchant or penchant? Or hear a footy coach say hence? Seems like a thief is trying to hide their tracks. And that was no one-off, because only last week it happened again, with Cowboys general manager Michael Luck telling the Bulletin about back rower Helam Lukey and saying,
"We believe he's only just scratched the surface of his potential."
Which League Initiative translated to,
he's nudged the iceberg, but there's so much more to come.
Nudged the iceberg? So who or what came up with that? The short answer is AI, with QUT's Professor Daniel Angus telling MediaWatch,
"This site seems to be AI-regenerated text, but I can't say for sure. It could be going through AI as the first pass, then a human has a look at it and presses publish."
And no prizes for guessing the goal.
It's purely around advertising.
And they're clearly going for gold, with League Initiative posting well over 300 stories in April alone, many of them shared on social media. As you can imagine, the Bulletin's Pat Woods is furious at the practice, which is pinching paywall journalism and spreading it for free, calling these sorts of sites
parasitic plagiarism merchants that are becoming all too common.
And adding,
"Not only do they hurt my ability to report on the NRL, but also damage the integrity of sports journalism."
So who is behind League Initiative and its so-called team of dedicated journalists and editors? We couldn't find a single byline, named reporter or editor, and no one responded to our emails. The domain name is registered in Victoria, but we got no response to our calls. It's not new, of course, for online news aggregators to steal copy from the internet, but it's now starting to happen on an industrial scale. New York-based NewsGuard has tracked 802 AI-generated news and information sites that have little to no human oversight, and that figure is rising exponentially, up from 49 a year ago. It is a corrosive problem, and it's not clear what, if anything, media companies can do to stop it. But we can, of course, choose not to read it. That's all from us for tonight. Don't forget Media Bites on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. But for now, until next week, goodbye.